What is going on, you guys? This is the Cubone here. And of course, I am wearing teal and black like a Duval cat because I am here to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, of course, in his new studio set, I am joined by my co-host, Trico. Trico, how are you doing today? Well, maybe down the road I can do some improvements to it. But today we're going to be talking about, unfortunately, this game between the Chiefs and the Jaguars that just took place. I am not happy at all. Even though I did say I thought the Chiefs were going to win this game, you're still heartbroken to see the team that you root for lose. You do. And a lot of people would always want to bring up the fact that all this had playoff seeding implications and all this and that. It's fucking week 2, people. All right, first things first, get to the playoffs before you even talk about playoff seeding and all that kind of shit. But on to the topic at hand, though. Let's go ahead and talk about the players, some of the stats, some of the people who I thought stood out in this game. And let's go ahead and start off with Trevor Lawrence. He threw 22 completions on 41 attempts for 216 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. He did have 2 fumbles in the game. Yeah, fumbles. Really, they were just backward passes for whatever reason. They did a lot of that in this game. Jacksonville threw a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage, and I just don't understand why. Beats me, but regardless, Trevor Lawrence, not bad, but definitely you expect better from Trevor. I think at least a touchdown or 2 is what you would have expected, especially with how bad the Chiefs were playing in this game. Could have been worse. He could have thrown for 4 interceptions. He could have turned the ball over on their side of the field with a fumble. You could be forcing passes to Calvin Ridley. But all in all, though, I thought he played all right. Nothing too spectacular. Moving on now, though, we got Christian Kirk, who had 11 catches for 110 yards. Not too surprising, I suppose. Christian Kirk, since he has come to Jacksonville, the Jaguars have played the Chiefs 3 times, including the playoffs. And it seems that every single time they do play the Chiefs and the Jaguars play each other, Christian Kirk seems to have his best games as a Jaguar. So, not too surprising. Though I will say it was kind of more of a quiet game for Christian Kirk. Quiet in terms of there wasn't, outside of that one big 40-yard bomb he caught, there was a lot of dink and dunk, catch a screen pass here and there, screen pass there too, and nothing razzle dazzle spectacular, nothing that was a first down reception, I should say. But all in all, Christian Kirk, after the performance he had week 1, which was very quiet, only 1 catch for 9 yards, it's nice to see that he had a bounce back week against the Chiefs. Let's quickly talk now about Patrick Mahomes for the Kansas City Chiefs. 29 completions, 41 attempts for 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That 1 interception was thrown to Andre Sisco, who is playing pretty damn well so far at the start of the season. And in terms of Mahomes, again, kind of like Trevor, nothing spectacular. A lot of the problems with the Chiefs is that they don't have a speedy receiver on their roster that can take the top off of defense. So really what they have to do is sort of dink and dunk, and Travis Kelce came back in this game, had a couple of receptions, but a lot of passes were thrown to him that he couldn't catch. Usually the Jaguars defended it really well. And he did catch a touchdown, but all in all, nothing really too spectacular offensively for the Chiefs. They were really shooting themselves in the foot. Jawan Taylor alone had 6 penalties in the game, which was half of what they've had. They had 12 penalties in this game. Yes, 12 penalties. And they still won the game. Now, isn't that frustrating as a Jags fan? But back to my point, the offense for the Chiefs wasn't as high potent as they normally were. They were very pedestrian, like they were last week. Last week against the Lions, the Chiefs were very pedestrian offensively. And once again, kind of the same case. Like, yeah, there's 300 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Well, a lot of that kind of came late in the game, in the fourth quarter. Before that, it was just a lot of dink and dunk, try to gain back a bunch of penalty yards, all that kind of stuff. So nothing too spectacular offensively for the Chiefs in this game. But one thing that was spectacular for the Chiefs was Chris Jones. So missed last week. This week, though, he came back. Kansas City got to Trevor Lawrence 4 times in this game. Chris Jones was credited for 1.5 sacks in this game alone. And man, I give a lot of credit to Kansas City's defense. They knew the offensive line for Jacksonville is a mess, and they got Chris Jones back, and they specifically had a pitch count for him for pass situations, and they moved him from the inside of the defensive line to the outside, right over Anton Harrison, the rookie right tackle for Jacksonville, and Chris Jones beat him like a drum. It was ugly, but you could tell last week Chris Jones was solely missed on that defensive line. He came back. They improved tremendously. Kansas City, you need to pay this man. You need to pay this man more than what you're paying him right now. I'm just going to say that. And now let's go ahead and talk about the 2 takeaways I have from this game. First and foremost, this is now the 8th straight loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Jacksonville has lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 8 straight times going back to 2010. Now, Andy Reid has only been the head coach of the Chiefs since 2013, since I've been following this team very closely, and I considered myself a fan of the team. But just saying that out loud, that they haven't beaten the Chiefs in God knows how long, granted, when Andy Reid took over the Chiefs back in 2013, that's where 7 of those 8 losses come from. Kansas City has not had a losing season since Andy Reid took over. He's been one of the winningest head coaches since he's joined Kansas City. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me they lost that many times in a row, but it's just kind of getting frustrating. This felt like the one time that they were set up to win the game. The defense played out of their mind. In fact, let's go ahead and talk about that. I thought the defense did their job in this game. I'm going to have to talk about the offense in another video because I'm going to go on a rant and a tangent or whatever you want to call it. The defense in this game did their job. Yes, there were times where Patrick Mahomes scrambled for a first down. He does that to everyone. They made sure Travis Kelce was a non-factor. They forced Patrick Mahomes to throw it to guys that weren't Travis Kelce and have him be creative with Kadarius Toney, who I thought had a solid game. No, I mean, yeah, he did fumble, but he had a solid game. They didn't give up any big plays until like the very end of the game when Sky Moore caught that one pass on a scramble drill and basically iced the game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, I thought, and they turned the ball over a few times. I thought the defense played really good in this game. And it is unfortunate. Josh Allen did get injured at some point and he had to get taken out, but kudos to the defense. It's not easy to keep the Chiefs under 17 points or 17 points or less. It's not easy to do that. I only wish the offense could have actually scored a touchdown or 2. All right, we're heading towards the end of the video. Trico, who's the player of the game for this contest? All right, thank you, Trico. Let's go ahead now and talk about the other teams in the AFC South real quick before I head on out. We already talked about the Jacksonville Jaguars losing to the Chiefs, but they now sit at a 1-1 record. Indianapolis and Tennessee also, after today's games, finished at 1-1 as well. Indianapolis went up against the Houston Texans, and although they came away with a victory, Anthony Richardson did have to leave the game with a concussion, and did not return, so we'll see how that affects the team moving forward. The Tennessee Titans won in overtime over the Los Angeles Chargers. It's always nice to see your team win at home in their home opener, so good for you, the Tennessee Titans. I wish my team knew how to do that. And lastly, the Houston Texans, like I mentioned, they had lost to the Indianapolis Colts. In terms of who they play against each other next week, the Indianapolis Colts, I believe, go to Baltimore to play the Ravens. And the Tennessee Titans are going up against the Cleveland Browns in, Cleveland. Meanwhile, the Houston Texans go on the road to face off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is both of their second divisional game. We'll see how that contest winds up later. And I will preview that game later on in the week. So, with that being said, folks, that is today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you guys next time. Take care.